while she's been a long day, got a little bit done, but she's a bit slow with the old 1.7 tonner. So you can see here, that's the top of one of the concrete piers. It's a concrete pier, so the plastic will actually sit in between all those. There's piers underneath here. That all needs to be still cleaned out. I still need to level those pads off. But rain for the next 2 days, so I'm heading down to Melbourne to go lock in windows and to lock in go pick up skylights. So there's due to the war in Iran, or wherever the hell the war is, there's a price rise on PVC and glass. So I've stocked up on all my PVC pipe. I've had to lock in my windows, and then I've also had to lock in and pick up the skylights, because they're going to be going up in price as well. So everything else is pretty good, but back here on the weekend, I'll have the excavator left here till the weekend, so should be all good. So we've just moved a couple of different sheets, so we've deleted one of them because engineering requires some bracing around it. So we've deleted one of the windows and actually moved it to another opening glass door so that we can actually get corner braces in front of it, and changed a couple of the configurations of some of the windows, but it's all looking pretty good. So we're still sticking with a tilt and turn, which is the opening, so you can open it, clean the glass, put it back in, lock it, and tilts back out again. So we're just going over the detailing, finished going over the layouts of the windows. This is pretty much nearly exactly as ours will come, because we are doing a colorbond cladded system on the outside of most of the external walls where the windows will be. So you'll have a fixed cavity outside the stud frame, and then your outside external batten, which will go to it, and then we'll have a flashing reveal that'll come in and sit underneath that window. You'll see here that they've wrapped around. This is made by one of the other local builders up here near Melbourne that does passive designed homes, which naturally has to have a thermal break in the middle of all the PVCs, which creates an air gap that's sealed for the double glazing. We need to make sure that the glazing is in line with an insulated mass. So when we're doing all these final finishings and where we sit the actual reveal of the window, we have it sitting in the right space, so we don't get any thermal bridging between outside atmosphere and inside temperatures. So we get that really nice flow through, and making sure that we've got a balance between inside and outside. It's a very good design model so that you can get your head around how things will come together. Outside breathable membrane, and then we'll have on ours we actually have an extra 50mm blanket that sits in between my cladding and my outside here to create this fixed ventilation section in between. And we're back on the job again after getting back from Melbourne over the last couple of days. The rains are all stopped, as you can see. We are now getting into all of the slab prep over the weekend, as I've hired this smaller machine because it's a lot cheaper to get a weekend hire for the little machines. So you pretty much get 2 days for the price of one. Just fixing up a few of the pads and making them a bit wider up there today. So after you've dug out all the trenches, which are basically the depth is determined by the pier hole heights. So once I've done all those piers and we've dug out and exposed all those piers, all those beams are dug out to those depths, then we get all of our levels perfect across all the top of these pads. A little bit of working out, as the garage has two different heights, one for the hoist area, one for the pad height for the general thickness.
as well as the area through the living spaces is also another height.
All the Rio delivered this morning, so we're all ready to go for early next week. Get all the plastic and all that ready, and then we'll wait for boards from a mate of mine to be able to do all the perimeter boards. So we just got to wait on them. That's why we've got a little bit of a delay on doing the top slab, but got the inspector coming tomorrow morning.
Actually hurt my back a little bit, so got mum and dad down on the tools. We got it done before the inspector turned up.
Well, we've just had the inspector turn up. Everything is passed. Awesome. So we had over the last couple of days finished cleaning out all the trenches around all the sides, over the top of the concreted pads, worked out how we're going to do some of these Rio bars, which I just had to confirm a couple of things. Went over the different heights on the back. We have discussed the chipboard as a backing for the boxing for the top slab. We have decided that I will take off all of that chipboard and replace it with professional form ply, just so we don't have any problems with that chipboard breaking and then flooding the entire downstairs space. So going forward, try and do a little bit of research on what's going to be the right product to use for the right application. So definitely going to be paying off having that done properly, and I'll reuse that board to do some of the base sides and backfill so that they're going to have the backing of the dirt on the outside, whereas that backside, where it hits down the base, you can see that it's got the props and everything out the back of it, which only have got supports every metre. So we've got to take into consideration that that doesn't have a whole heap of dirt piled up against it. So we'll get all that finished off and go from there.
Yep, this is one of those learn from your mistakes kind of job. I should have naturally brought the form ply from day dot. The chipboard was just going to be way too weak. Put way too much pressure from the concrete. There's going to be a hell of a lot of thick concrete going through this stage, so having that extra form ply hopefully will pay off when we do the final pour and not spew concrete all over the basement. So hopefully it pays off. Today you can see that we've started with the front boxing in the front entry there in the middle of the screen, and then on the left and right hand side where it goes quite deep, everywhere from up to 800 mil to 1200 deep boxing up each side of the back.
So what's on the go for today? We've got a weight for the boxing that I'm borrowing off a local builder who I'm good friends with, the team from those guys. I've done a lot of work for these guys in the past, so they're same as the bottom slab. They've been awesome enough to be able to lend me all the boxing for the bottom. So I'm doing all the more intricate stuff today. I do have some of their pegs and stuff like that already, so I've already done the front entry. So you can see I've boxed out, got the string lines up, got all the pads all ready to go. I've boxed out the front entry here. So this is where the front entry is going to be. I've started boxing, and we redid, like in the previous video, we redid the back in proper form ply. I've got to finish bracing all this, but we've got all the boxing. I've got to actually clean all this out, and then we've got to do a heap of braces all the way along here, because that ranges from 1200 deep concrete in this back corner with a nice big external pad here to hold the portal frame for upstairs. You can see the sewer outlet here. That's just a provisional for any later down the track. We've got a conduit going over to where the hoist will be. We've also got, then I'll finish off as much as I can with the form ply up and around the sides. Same thing goes for this side. So I've just measured out. So this shower base here will get set down into the slab, so this won't actually have insulation under it. It'll have underfloor heating in it, but it won't have the insulation under it because it's set down lower. And then you can see here's the same. So I'll finish off the boxing
along here as far as I can, and then we'll backfill the bottom section back in against that boxing so that it allows for hold a lot of the pressure in when we fill that with concrete, which is going to give us a lot of pressure. If you're wondering what all those blue collars are around all the pipes, that is all the termite protection to stop any termites coming up through the slab and then penetrating into the house and then eating away my timbers. So I've pressure washed all the way along the wall here. So once we've finished getting all the plastic in, which we might start this afternoon, I've got a mate of mine coming to help me do all the plastic and Rio and everything tomorrow after we get the boxing this afternoon. After, like I said, the builder is finished pouring their slab today, we'll do finish wrapping all these pipes and finish doing all the termite protection stuff later on after that. So all happening. Only boxing's all turned up, so just after we unload all the boxing here, I'll go over all the string lines, double check all the square of the top slab and making sure they're in line with all the Dincel and bottom slab areas, making sure we've got all of our distances for our clearances on our boxing is all set right with our reveals. Then I'll go on to moving to all the pegs. So now we've got all the pegs and boxing on site. I can go around and bang all these pegs in, which will sit about 35 to 45 mil off the string line, and we run all the way around, try and space them out every 900 mil so that we've got something to nail our boxing to. So because we don't have a rebate for bricks on our house, it's going to be all cladding, steel cladded. Our reveals go straight down, so there's no actual rebates. Welcome to the next morning. I'm going to make you sit through another one of my sunrises because I can't get enough of these sunrises here in Gippsland over the valleys with the fog. Oh, just magic. Can't get enough of them. Nice early start, so we get ahead of it. So we always start with straight lengths, try and use as many of the straight lengths of boxing first because this stuff is LVL, so you want to try and minimise as much as possible cutting lengths. So use as many straight lengths as possible first, overhang the corners, and then all your intricate stuff, what we'll do is we'll fill all those little pieces in, like where our little jump outs are and our rebates and all that kind of stuff. So now we'll use to finish off all the bottom boards, we'll just run along with all the other straight lengths and all the offcuts so that we can have them all meet up really nice and you don't have to stress too much about cutting too many lengths. This is a job that is a lot easier with two people, and I don't always have the opportunity to be able to have people help me out on my jobs, but it's definitely helpful when you've got somebody that also has other concreting experience as well. So this has worked out really well. Boxing's all done around the outside. Just need to finish propping it at a later date. Just some support bracing for now so it doesn't move. So front entries here. Now we're about to start doing some plastic. Getting all the plastic and knowing which way to work from when it's a pretty big square like this is always a complication. Sometimes it's a lot easier to work out and do your first parts that are going to require a lot of intricate cuts and everything around all the pipe work. Get all that out of the way first so you've got plenty of slack in your plastic. As you can see here, we're working in and around all my pipes, making sure there's plenty of slack inside your beams so that it all tightens when you duct tape it all in the sun later on. So you need to allow for plenty of slack in the joins and make sure they're overlapped between each length well and truly before moving on to the next section. I'm starting to wonder if I'm doing these sunrise videos for you guys or if I'm just doing them for myself, because I just love sitting back and watching the colours come through these hills. And so we're going over all the little areas and making sure that we're duct taped into all these corner beams and the external pads. So make sure they're all perfect before we start bringing in trench mesh and all the wire and bar. So there's a lot of little intricate stuff that you got to do in and out of these drop down beams, as the outside beams are definitely a lot deeper than the inside. So after we've installed most of the trench mesh, which goes through the bottom of the internal and external beams, we've also put a lot of 12mm bar in those trenches as well that are ready to be pulled up underneath the top mesh, which is specified by the engineers to create the structural integrity of the entire slab. We've started out by doing most of that center mesh section, which is my hoist, which is going to have a double mesh system through 250mm thick concrete, and then everything else is a standard thickness of 135mm. We're putting these insulation foam underneath the habitable spaces. So all this insulation foam that sits underneath is 40mm slab mate, which basically insulates underneath where the living spaces are in this house. All the stuff on the right hand side you can see here is all the shed space, which doesn't need the insulation to get the R rating through the slab. So we'll just work our way through the mesh, and yeah, coming along quite well. We're losing light really quick. We were really pumping it out this day, and I tell you what, I was barely being able to walk lifting those. This is SL, I think it's SL 102, so quite heavy mesh, and we lost light really quick.
That was a big day. That's a lot of mesh. My back is killing me, and it is dark. Street lights are on. It's home time. I'm walking like a grandpa. So today we need to get as much as we can done before the rain comes. It's supposed to be getting up to 20mm of rain this afternoon. So we want to tie all the mesh now that it's all in place, to put all the joints together, make sure we've got all the pieces in, tied it together before we lift it all, and put all the chairs underneath it all and sit it to the perfect height, so that it's sitting that within that, hopefully around that 30 to 40mm below top of slab. So we'll pack it all to the perfect height. Right at the back there is actually at the right height because it's sitting on top of those starter bars, but all the insides will all need to have go over. Let's go.
Just another day that if I didn't have a Makita tie gun for all the tie wires for all these mesh, I tell you what, it would take me days to tie all that tie mesh. So yeah, a 18 volt Makita tie gun to do all the tie mesh. So we got through all these stages before we start doing chairs. We always tie it together, make sure our laps in our Rio and all our top mesh and all that's all tied together properly and in the right positions and everything like that before we go putting the chairs in. Well, you've asked for it. Here's another sunrise. Gotta love those colours coming up. So let's get all those final chairs in, get all the final tying done, and then we got to do all the little jump downs in between. You can see down through here is Z bars that have got to be through the ties that tie in the bottom mesh all the way to the top mesh, so that they not only support each other, but hold all the 12mm bar up, as well as making sure that that whole entire external beam all ties together really nice, and you're not going to have any external cracking of the slab, and it's all going to be good under load. Well, we had another inspection right at the end of the day, and then we've had to push to get our final push before we pour slab tomorrow. So we keep going into the night, bracing up the slab ready to go. So we're starting to set up floodlights.
Well, it's pour day. Yes, it is showering. Still got to finish off some of the pickets and bracing.
Thanks for watching another one of the episodes. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing the next stages with you. Don't be afraid to reach out. Thanks, everyone.